traditional fishing ground from Filipinos fishermen and part of this Philippine exclusive economic zone and continental shelf. You are state party to UNCLOS. Stay clear from our passage in accordance with the collision regulations over.
The Philippines has recently expressed grave concern regarding the reported harassment of its fishing vessels by two Chinese Coast Guard ships within the contentious South China Sea. This incident took place within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, specifically at the Iroquois Reef on April 4th. This event doesn't come as a surprise, given the history of Chinese activity in the South China Sea. In recent months, a series of maritime incidents have occurred between the Philippines and China, often involving the deployment of water cannons. These encounters frequently occur near the contested reefs within the expansive and resource-abundant South China Sea. The question remains, can the Philippine Navy respond to this harassment? Join us for some brainstorming and show your support by subscribing. In a statement issued by Jay Terriella, spokesperson for the Philippine Coast Guard, strong condemnation was directed towards the actions of the Chinese Coast Guard, which were characterized as intimidation tactics. Terriella outlined that the Coast Guard vessels allegedly engaged in provocative maneuvers, including the simulation of activating their water cannons, thereby posing a direct threat to Filipino fishermen operating in the vicinity.
The level of tension and provocation of the Chinese has always been the same. They would still harass our Filipino fishermen. Their supply operation will always be hampered by their Coast Guard vessels, and they're still going to carry out dangerous maneuver towards the Philippine Coast Guard vessels. So I think with or without this kind of activities that we're doing, Chinese has always been increasing the tension.
Terriella articulated the Philippine perspective, attributing this perceived aggression to what he described as China's greed and unfounded claim over the disputed maritime territory. He underscored the preposterous nature of China's claim, labeling it an imaginary dashed line that encroaches upon the sovereign rights of the Philippines within its exclusive economic zone. Terriella further emphasized that Rosal Reef, known by its Filipino designation, falls distinctly within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, situated approximately 128 nautical miles off the coast of Palawan. Additionally, he highlighted the Philippines' customary reference to the South China Sea area within its EEZ as the West Philippine Sea. In the wake of these serious allegations, there has been no immediate response from China, the nation asserting extensive sovereignty claims over nearly the entire expanse of the South China Sea. The absence of a formal rejoinder from Beijing leaves the matter fraught with tension and uncertainty, underscoring the intricate geopolitical dynamics at play in the region.
菲律宾方面对此一再矢口否认，我们不知道菲方到底担心什么，又试图掩盖什么。遵守中非达成的共识，就能有效维护仁爱礁局势稳定，符合中非双方的共同利益。违背承诺，一再挑衅，只会升高局势，终将殃及菲方自身。希望菲方正视现实，理智决策。
Since assuming office in 2022, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. of the Philippines has actively pursued warmer relations with the United States and other Western nations while adopting a firm stance against what he perceives as Chinese aggression.
100-plus-year-old relationship between the Philippines and the U.S. continues to evolve as we face the challenges of this new century and the events that we have been watching over the past few months.
In a notable statement last month, President Marcos Jr. declared that the Philippines would undertake appropriate countermeasures in response to China's actions, particularly following the latest altercation that resulted in injuries to Filipino servicemen and damage to vessels. This resolute stance highlights Philippines' commitment to safeguarding its territorial integrity and asserting its rights in the face of perceived threats in the region.
In this specific context of the South China Sea, our interests are clear. They lie in ensuring that the universal and unified character of the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, and in the final and binding determinations of the South China Sea Arbitration Award of 2016 are firmly and consistently upheld.
This is Chinese naval warship. You are approaching China's territorial waters. Please state your intention.
In a bold move aimed at countering China's increasing assertiveness in the region, the Philippines is conducting joint naval and air drills with key allies, including the US, Japan, and Australia, in the disputed area. This decision shows the Philippines' commitment to strengthening ties with its partners as a strategic response to regional challenges. Defense chiefs from the four nations expressed their collective dedication to reinforcing regional and international cooperation in support of a free and open Indo-Pacific. The drills will serve as a tangible demonstration of this commitment, showcasing the unity and resolve of the participating countries. Moreover, Japan's embassy in Manila indicated that the exercises would encompass anti-submarine warfare training, highlighting the strategic importance of the Balikatan exercises. With repeated encounters with China in the Philippines' exclusive economic zone and the construction of military bases on artificial islands, the armed forces of the Philippines grapple with the challenge of being under-equipped, according to experts. The Philippine Navy has lagged behind many of its Southeast Asian peers for decades. The 2012 Scarborough Shoal incident, which saw China effectively occupy a feature within the Philippine EEZ, spurred Manila to revive its military modernization efforts. The new Armed Forces of the Philippines Modernization Act aim to bolster the country's capabilities and deter further encroachment in the South China Sea. However, funding shortages and the COVID-19 pandemic derailed the Navy's procurement plans, leaving crucial modernization initiatives incomplete. In response to rising tensions, Manila has embarked on a comprehensive revision of its defense strategy, placing a renewed emphasis on naval and air forces. The new strategy envisions the AFP operating offshore in the EEZ and beyond, with the Philippine Navy tasked with securing the country's vast maritime domain. From patrols in the EEZ to acquiring high-end anti-air and submarine warfare capabilities, the Philippine Navy stands poised to defend the nation's sovereignty and protect its interest in the face of external threats. China's naval prowess has reached unprecedented heights as it hosts the world's largest fleet with over 340 warships. Once perceived as a greenwater navy confined to coastal waters, Beijing's recent shipbuilding endeavors have unveiled grander ambitions. In recent years, China has rolled out formidable assets, including guided missile destroyers, amphibious assault ships, and aircraft carriers capable of projecting power across vast distances, thousands of miles from Beijing. Western marine security experts, alongside the Philippines and the United States, have sounded the alarm over China's maritime militia, allegedly comprising hundreds of vessels. This militia serves as an unofficial force, advancing Beijing's territorial claims in the South China Sea and beyond. Most concerning is China's concentrated military buildup along the Spratly and Paracel Island chains. Through extensive land reclamation efforts, Beijing has significantly expanded its presence, adding over 3,200 acres of land to its occupied outposts. These outposts, equipped with airfields, berthing areas, and resupply facilities, facilitate persistent Chinese military and paramilitary activities in the region. Beijing's military construction spree began in earnest in 2014, with massive dredging operations transforming reefs into fortified military bases. According to the Asia Maritime Transparency Initiative, China's fortified outposts, boasting military-grade airfields and advanced weaponry, pose a significant threat to free movement in the area. As tensions escalate, the U.S. and its allies remain vigilant, wary of the potential for these outposts to serve as strategic choke points, undermining regional stability. Amidst the chaos in the South China Sea, insights from a Chinese think tank shed light on the potential for armed conflict between China and the Philippines. According to the think tank's analysis, the risk of immediate war remains low due to several critical factors. The Philippines lacks the capability to confront China alone, and the U.S. has shown reluctance to directly intervene in South China Sea disputes. Another Beijing think tank reinforces this stance, emphasizing that the conflict in the South China Sea is unlikely in the foreseeable future. China recognizes the formidable alliances that are arrayed against it, including the United States and its allies, such as Japan, Australia, and the Philippines. China understands the risks of engaging in a war with the U.S. and its allies, considering the military capabilities and collective strength they possess. As tensions persist, diplomatic efforts remain crucial in navigating the complex geopolitical landscape of the South China Sea.